Bitcoin over 97,000 US dollars, gold and silver keep pumping, or rather are now getting a small pullback after Trump called off the attack on Iran for now. Trump is still demanding Greenland, troop movements towards Greenland, and yes, Bitcoin seems pretty unimpressed. And we have the numbers from TSMC, and with that, a warm welcome to a new crypto update video. Yes, there's a lot to discuss. On the one hand, of course, because of the Bitcoin price, and on the other hand, of course, with an impending attack by Trump on Iran, which was then called off again yesterday because he heard some voices that told him that no people would be killed after all. And as long as that's the case, we don't have to intervene. It's the worst shit show in the world. Sorry, but that's just the way it is, what's going on there. The markets are partially capitulating. The oil price first pumps all the way up towards $62, then dumps again by 5-6% after these words. It's unbelievable. And Bitcoin, yes, is relatively stable at around 96,500 US dollars, so it's holding up relatively well. But we are far from being out of the woods yet. We'll take a look at all of that. But before we get started, as always, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. There you'll always get the latest info when I enter any trades or when something happens. The last trade was also XMR. We can also go into that in the video in a moment. But everything there is secured for now. Otherwise, if you're looking for an exchange where you can ultimately trade everything we discuss here, whether it's altcoins, Bitcoin, Forex, or the stock markets, you can do all of that on my partner exchange, BingX. You can really do everything there now. And right now there's also a small promotion. Let's just call it that. Yeah, we don't have to do that now. But for the new year, just always click on register, and once you reach a certain trading volume, you're in again and can open boxes where you can ultimately win free trades or USDT. So, oh yeah, and tonight at 7 p.m., you know the deal, live stream. So, but now Bitcoin. We had our high, let's say, at around 97,900 US dollars. It actually doesn't look too bad. If it weren't for the little problem with the volume, which is still completely abnormally low, at least in my opinion. So sure, the push looks relatively valid, but the volume, as I said, is very, very low, and we don't want to see that. We have a massive bearish divergence in the chart at the moment. And what's most important, just because we've gone up now doesn't mean that any analysis for the coming weeks is wrong. To put it this way, over the last few weeks, and yeah, you can say weeks, let's stick with weeks. We've said again and again, okay, we are fucking back zone. We've had that in there for months now. So, but fundamentally, we are still in our huge bear flag. Just in case there are any comments like, Bitcoin is rising after all, what about the crash? That topic is far from off the table. In my opinion, at least, we are still in a huge bear flag. We still have low volume, and the other problem is we continue to have massive sell the news, or rather sell Bitcoin in the market. That means as much as massive amounts of Bitcoin continue to be sold. Yesterday alone, again, 130 million within 1 minute worth of Bitcoin was sold. And then it went on for several minutes, or rather for several hours, you could almost say, back into the ranges of over 100 million where Bitcoin was sold. So massive amounts of spot Bitcoin are still being dumped. For me, that's still a small uncertainty factor. Then, as I said, we are still in our bear flag. Technically speaking, we might have found the third wave here, or rather completed it. So here too, it could be the end of the line for now. What makes me a bit more optimistic is the fact that we had a nice green vector candle and have moved away from the 50 EMA. But we are now in the middle of this purple vector candle, which is now possibly already 50% filled. This means that we are slowly but surely running out of targets to the upside. We have already come close to my area of my we are fucking back zone, or rather from our higher level sell zone. We have reached the 50% price target of our symmetrical triangle, and theoretically we would have also reached the B wave price target by now. Sure, there's still about 107k theoretically possible, but for that to happen, everything has to calm down in the end. Let's go over to the heat map and take a quick look. How does it look there at the moment, or rather, where is the liquidity currently located? Let's get rid of that real quick. There, and let's remove the small orders here as well. There we can see there are still 1 or 2 liquidity clusters at 99. Otherwise, the heat map is pretty much cleaned up, except towards 90 and down to 72k. These up here are the short positions that have now been added. If we look at the funding rates, let's take a quick look here. They are still negative. Sure, it can go up a bit for now, but the big signs are simply that we still have problems here. On the one hand, with the volume on the 4-hour basis, then we still have the divergences and are still in our bear flag. That means the bearish sentiment prevails. Then we have a US president who can basically come out any second and say, hey, I'm going into this country now, like Greenland. The Europeans are moving troops to Greenland, which is actually a NATO case, also very strange. Then Iran, Israel, Iran, USA, that whole topic. Just yesterday, Trump was saying all the time, yes, we are moving troops. We know that there are troop movements down there. Then he says, yes, the killing has stopped. For sure. Do you even believe that yourself? Which in turn led to the oil price 3.3%. So Brent dropped by 3.3%, WTI dropped by 5.5%. Right now, it's just a complete shit show in the world, and at the same time, we still have the issue with Japan. Congratulations, weak yen may spur Bank of Japan rate hike in April. Now we're already at April, before July was being discussed. So you see, there are still rumors on every corner, and that's not going to change for now. But so as not to leave you completely in the dark, TSMC fourth quarter profit beats estimates, soaring 35%. So the AI sector seems to be a bit safe for now. Taiwan Semiconductor has delivered good numbers now. That means things should calm down a bit, I'd say, in the AI sector, at least for now. As for Bitcoin, yeah, as I said, nothing has changed. I'm still short, I stand by it, nothing has changed. The position hasn't been doubled yet. For me, doubling only comes into play up here in the range of 99.5 and then up to 107K is possible. Please don't over leverage. As I said, for me, it's still a huge bear flag. Nothing has changed about that. And I don't think that anything will change about that, about this matter. But well, let's wait and see. Let's move on to the altcoins. Ethereum, yay. I really have to say, I'm still pretty disappointed with the altcoins. So I'm being completely serious because the performance is really miserable. I mean, really miserable at the moment. Sure, we saw this move upwards yesterday. It went up to about 3, 4. But if you just look at the move from Bitcoin, which was really impulsive, and then somehow Ethereum, yeah, I just have to go along because Bitcoin is going along. That's how it seems to me at the moment. We're not in my sell zone yet. 3.5 to 3.8, the maximum would even be 4K, but I don't see that by a long shot at the moment, so I'll stick with this sell zone for now. And Solana, what the fuck, nothing is happening there at all. The Solana ETFs have seen inflows in the last few days, I believe. Solana doesn't give a damn about it at all, so it's really unbelievable. At least our Elliott Wave strategy has worked out perfectly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is weakly pronounced. Very weakly pronounced, although the volume was relatively good, but the altcoins just aren't moving. The altcoins just don't have any drive right now. And that's the big problem. Last but not least, because we looked at it again in the group, was XMR. The second short entry was up here at 760, picked up very nicely. So whoever took that, take profit, take 50% out and just let it run and you're good. So that was our second, or my second short zone here, 762. Nice dump to the downside. The first one was briefly stopped out at stop loss entry after we struggled a bit here, but the second one was picked up much better. So take profits, stop loss entry, and now let's move on to the traditional markets. The dollar is rising. Surprising somehow with this whole story, but well, war always strengthens the dollar, times of crisis strengthen the dollar, so it's no longer surprising in that regard. Really surprising. Euro slump, so it's doing nothing, really zero, nada. We are still here in wave 4, simply nothing is happening at the moment. Let's move over to the USD JPY. We are seeing slight signs of a correction. We are now in the intervention zone. I'm still biased short, so just by the way, nothing has changed about that. We are in the intervention zone where Japan should actually start intervening because it will slowly but surely harm the economy, or will. So I think it's no longer a question of if or could, but that it will happen. For the first time in a while, we're seeing again that the Japanese 10-year government bonds are at least falling to 2.16. Hey, respect? Cool. The 20-year and 30-year bonds are still at a much too high level. They have to intervene. I just showed you the article. Japan is already considering raising interest rates again, and it probably won't take much longer. Next week on January 23rd, there's another interest rate decision. Let's see what is being said, but the way it looks at the moment, they have to intervene slowly but surely. It's simply risky for the economy, and something will happen there. This topic is far from being off the table, even if it has become completely quiet again. If a spike comes here at some point and the markets crash, then you'll know why. I just want to emphasize, as I said, there's nothing at the moment, but as I said, be careful. The volatility index moved again yesterday for the first time in a long time. We reached the resistance area at 19. Then the message came out from Trump, yeah, no, we're not doing anything in Iran for now. I don't believe that. So I think this whole topic is not over yet. There's still a lot to come, but to maybe calm things down a bit, because as we saw yesterday, Nasdaq slumped below our symmetrical triangle for now. TSMC delivered good numbers. I'm curious to see what the openings are like today. S&P 500 slumped downwards, is recovering right now, and the Dow Jones remains at a high level. The Dow Jones is running very, very differently from the other two at the moment anyway. Russell keeps pumping. Risk is still on, at least for short-term gains for now. And yes, let's wait and see. So I'll keep an eye on the volatility index for now, and of course, ultimately all the news, whether it's Iran, Greenland, Israel, what do I know, wherever Trump wants to get involved. But it will definitely get exciting. We have enough events that can hit at any time. It doesn't mean you should sell everything or short everything into the ground, but just be careful. Oh yes, I forgot gold and silver. Silver is still on its way to the moon. Yesterday it reached 93, almost $94 an ounce. So it's completely on a parabolic run. Gold is also going down slightly now that geopolitical tensions have eased a bit, if you believe that. Good. That's it from my side anyway. We'll see each other again tonight for the live stream at 7 p.m. Let's see what else might happen today. Let's just see what happens. Anyway, that's all from me. Thanks for watching. We'll be live tonight at 7 p.m. on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick for anyone who's up for it. And I wish you a great and successful day. Until then, ciao, ciao, and as always, stay crazy.